went onto the battleship. They said they would have the system up and running as the morning afterwards. I spent 3 hours. I wasted 3 hours, and there was nothing. They tried. The British came in, went onto the battleship. They said they would have the system up and running as the morning afterwards. I spent 3 hours. I wasted 3 hours, and there was nothing they could do because they claimed they had a problem with the band, their system, and they could not get me messages. I had to be making calls, and I said that was not the time for me making calls to specific organizations, and I want to talk to the Grenadian people, so I had to insist that I be taken back from the ship back to the land. Whether they were pleased or not, I don't know, but I felt extremely uncomfortable that it's known that I'm in somewhat battleship, eating and drinking and waiting to talk to people. I couldn't live with this, so I was back on the mainland and doing what I can. I went over the PA system yesterday. One day I went over by myself because they claimed they had a problem with the band and their system, and they could not get me messages. I had to be making calls, and I said that was not the time for me making calls to specific organizations, and I want to talk to the Grenadian people, so I had to insist that I be taken back from the ship back to the land. Whether they were pleased or not, I don't know, but I felt extremely uncomfortable that it's known that I'm in somewhat battleship, eating and drinking and waiting to talk to people. I couldn't live with this, so I was back on the mainland and doing what I can. I went over the PA system yesterday. One day I went over by myself because security guys themselves, they were devastated, all of them around me. I felt sorry for them. They didn't know what happened to the children or wife or husbands, and you have to understand in times of this, you can't think about yourself alone. You have to think of everybody. I went down to the shelter. There people had nothing, but they were asking me about me, whether I'm safe, and while it felt good.
Yes, folks, I want to welcome you to the Dynamic Hour. Again, another opportunity that you and I have to talk, to have a conversation. I want to encourage those on YouTube and Facebook to please share the live. Sharing is caring. And I played that piece at the beginning of the program because I think it is important to feature it, because you have people like Jenny Simon, who is out there concocting all kind of stories. In fact, I was trying to get that little piece out of her program where she was questioning the whole conversation regarding Keith Mitchell being on a battleship uh, during the whole Ivan devastation. You have before, during, and after, right? But he confessed that he was actually on the battleship either before, during, or after, but he was on a battleship. And that's a different thing here, because people are comparing how the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell handled the passage of Beryl before, during, and after, compared to Keith Mitchell and how he handled Hurricane Ivan, right? Before, during, and after. And you saw that poll that came out that our beloved Prime Minister favorability rating increased significantly. I think he's about 80-something% in terms of how people view his response to Beryl and his leadership at this point in time. So it's really, really high. And it's all because of, from day one, how the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell handled stuff, not just Beryl, the response to Beryl, but even before that, the confidence, the trust people have in him. So I thought I should play that piece there, and I'll play it again during the program where Keith Mitchell was actually speaking about the passage of Hurricane Ivan and him being on the battleship, and not being able to communicate and so on. So let me just feature this positive piece here first and foremost.
On behalf of CRIF SPC, I would like to present you with a check for the single largest payout in the history of CRIF in the amount of 40,627 US dollars.
Thank you. On behalf of the government and people of Grenada, I am pleased to accept the check of over 44 million US dollars to aid in the recovery and the rebuilding efforts of Grenada.
Mr. Houston, on behalf of the Board of and Management of CRIF SPC, I would like to present you with a check of US $9,323,276. And let me also say that this is actually the very first payout that any electric utility is receiving since we started offering the product in the year 2019.
Mr. Isaac, on behalf of Grenlec, our board of directors, management and staff, I am absolutely delighted to receive this check on behalf of the company. Within 14 days, okay, you have communicated to us, and now we're at a stage where I'm actually receiving this check. Be assured that this will be used to rebuild, strengthen, and add the necessary resilience, okay, we need to improve our system in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
Mr. Smith, on behalf of the Quick SP program affiliated with the CRIF facility, I want to present you with the first ever payout to water utility in the region, 2.2 million US dollars. So congratulations to the board and management of NAWASA for certainly making a good investment decision, and I urge you to continue to prepare for your disaster financing and management needs. Thank you.
Mr. Osborne, on behalf of the board, management, and staff, I convey our heartfelt thanks for the speed and efficiency with which this operation took place. These funds would be used to strengthen the resilience of NAWASA's water systems.
Yes, so that's the payout there, CRIF, that insurance, and Grenlec benefited, NAWASA benefited, and the country as a whole benefited. And you have people like Keith Mitchell, who is out there trying to take credit for this insurance that the country had and still has, right? Still has, but CRIF paying into that insurance, he's trying to take credit for that. But when you look at the World Bank document, you realize it was the World Bank, after the passage of Hurricane Ivan and so on, who mandated that the country pay into this insurance. So it's not Keith Mitchell or the NNP. You see how the World Bank operates. When you get money from them, they attach it to certain things. So there are certain things that you have to do. So Grenada had to do that, right? I saw the World Bank document. Can't remember on what page, but Grenada had to do that. So it's not Keats doing or something special. It's not. It is what the World Bank dictated at the time. And it was a good thing. And why try to take credit for that when we can easily dig up the evidence and come back and let the public know what's going down? You see, they're trying to take credit for everything these days. So it's a good thing that the government and people can benefit from this insurance payout. And not only the government, but we can also speak to Grenlec getting 9 million or so US, and NAWASA getting 2-point-something million US, which is really great. So it would add up to about 50-something million coming to Grenada in total, which is a great thing for us during this time, during this period. So the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, they will benefit from this, and the people in St. Patrick and St. Mark too, and parts of Grenada. And we would see more financial support coming to our country because of the leadership of the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell. I always say to people, sometimes you question stuff. So you have been out there and you hear the rumors from the other side, the NNP, about the amount of trips our beloved Prime Minister is making outside. But you have to be at the decision-making table to rub shoulders with the right people, to meet the right people, to build relationships with the right people. So when you are in need, they can quickly come to your aid. And that is what we are seeing. We are seeing that the people that the Prime Minister forged relationships with over that period of time, this is important. He goes to those events and activities and conferences and summits and so on. Don't shy away from it. And they look at those things. And that is why nearly all of them are coming to the aid of Grenada. So again, it speaks to leadership, speaks to being able to sit at the table and network. All right? The Caribbean Development Bank delegation visited Carriacou and PG Martinique.
President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Isaac Solomon, led a mission to Carriacou and Petit Martinique on Wednesday to conduct an assessment of the damage to formulate response strategies. The mission is part of the CDB-supported regional response mechanism, which symbolizes resources to territories most severely affected by hurricanes. CDB deployed staff to Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines to assist in delivering immediate response support following the passage of Hurricane Beryl.
Yeah, what I've seen in Carriacou is a story of two tales, really, where I'm seeing a few houses that are still intact, more than I expected, but then that is given the size of the island as well. But I'm also seeing more total destruction, where some properties are totally destroyed. There's nothing left. And so, but overall, the destruction is pretty catastrophic. And it's going to take a whole lot to recover from an event like this.
Solomon told GIS the mission will assess the immediate needs and long-term recovery efforts of the affected islands.
Well, we work through the government, and so there are some things that will have to be done on both sides, and I wouldn't want to speak to that, but just be assured that, and I'm pretty sure the government, we are all vested in ensuring that we are able to, first of all, respond to the immediate situation and then to speak to the long-term recovery efforts.
Okay, just boy, nice. Yes, sorry for that. I was actually trying to download something here. Just trying to download something here. All right. So you heard it there. The Caribbean Development Bank, they visited Carriacou. They are doing their assessment, and of course, money will come, assistance will come by that visit eventually. All right, that will happen in short order. The citizens of the senior home in Carriacou, they were relocated to Grenada.
Ministry of Social Development has successfully relocated 32 senior citizens from the sister isles of Carriacou and Petit Martinique to senior citizens' homes on mainland Grenada following the destruction of the Top Hill Senior Citizens' Home in Carriacou and other private homes at which they were housed during the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Naomi Jeremiah, Permanent Secretary with responsibility for social development and gender affairs, gave an update on where the seniors are housed and some additional items needed to make their stay comfortable.
We have 32 persons have been relocated, both from Petit Martinique and Carriacou to Grenada. We have 16 persons that are located in True Blue. We have 15 at the St. Martin de Porres Home for the Aged, and we have one person at the Chester Home for the Aged. Now the capacity at all those three locations are up to maximum. And as a result, we have to look for additional housing accommodation for our elderlies, because we have, from reports coming in, from the data collected, we still have a few elderlies that are compromised in terms of their needs and the amenities. So we're asking for some support with regards to that. On that note, I would like to say thanks to Father Bishop Harvey for his support. He has really been a pillar during these difficult times for us Grenadians, and he has stretched out his arms together with the Catholic community to ensure that our elderly have accommodation.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, dear Ms. Jeremiah. P.S. Jeremiah, thank you very much. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. And that's a boss move on the part of the government to move the seniors from Carriacou down to Grenada. And that was done in short order. So keep up the good work. We have to care for our elderly citizens, particularly during these times. So a lot of good things are happening. A lot of good things are happening for our people. Let me feature another piece here. We had some regional leaders who toured Carriacou and PT Martinique.
Leaders have jumped to the rescue of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique following the devastation caused by Hurricane Beryl on Monday, July 1st. On Wednesday, a few of the leaders accompanied Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell to tour some of the severely affected areas on the sister island to gain a first-hand appreciation of the damage and immediate needs of the country. Prime Ministers of St. Kitts and Nevis, Terence Drew, St. Lucia, Philip Pierre, Dominica Roosevelt Skerrit, and French Ambassador to Grenada, Francis Etienne, all pledged their commitment to support the restoration and rebuilding efforts for the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
I am still in a bit of shock with the extent of the devastation here on Carriacou and in the Grenadines in general. I'm thinking about the people who have been so affected and how are they dealing with it. And I want to start by extending support from St. Kitts and Nevis and to say to the people of the Grenadines and Grenada that we are with you. You are not alone. I want to also say that the OECS, as chair as the OECS, outgoing chair, that the OECS is with Grenada and the Grenadines as well. To the people of Carriacou, Grenadines, St. Vincent, Grenada, more power to you. You are not alone. We are with you.
I'd seen some of the devastation on television, but you have to see for yourself. I don't think I can describe what I saw today. What was most striking is that the people seem to be resilient. The people seem to want to pick up the pieces. I go in to wish them well. It is total devastation. And for probably islands in the region who have not seen that level of devastation, I think they should try to understand what a hurricane is and take all necessary steps to be prepared for such an eventuality.
These instances, these storms come and people get to understand the challenges and the alarm that we've been talking about. So we'll work with the government of Grenada as we can to help with the reconstruction and rebuilding. At CARICOM level, as you know, we have a subcommittee of prime ministers who have been charged with coordinating the mobilization of resources. And even if the storm did not affect Dominica, but I serve on that committee as well, because I believe it's important for us to show solidarity, because any island that gets affected, we're all affected, one way or the other. And so I want to urge the people of Grenada to work together. This is not a time for us to point fingers and lay blame at anybody. This is a time for us to come together and to help those persons who are in need. And if you cannot be constructive at this time, then it makes no sense to speak, because that's not what people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique want to hear. People want to hear a hope, confidence, and that their lives and livelihoods will be restored.
When we see our sister nations in the Caribbean being hit and people being distressed, there's no question for the French not to intervene, not to support. So we were asked to provide kits which were delivered by the Navy boat du Mont d'Urville those last days. We were asked to have the possibility to see from above today with the helicopter how extensive the damages were, and we are simply not happy to provide because this is not a happy circumstance, but we think it's our duty and expression of solidarity for the people and the government of Martinique and Guadeloupe. And so here we are. We will provide assistance as needed. The boat will return next week to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And if we can be of any help, of any assistance, and later in the reconstruction as French and as European, we will be happy to provide.
The regional heads say climate change is real and small island developing states are more vulnerable and at risk. They are hopeful that in the not too distant future, international countries will realize a continuous call for the reduction of gas emissions and other factors that contribute to climate change is accurate and can be considered.
The next decade for the Caribbean is going to be devastating. This will become a reality. It is a hard fact to face, but it's a fact that we must face. This year, we are being hit by category 4 or 5 early in the season. Next year, it's going to be basically the same in terms of the risk because we did not achieve keeping the temperature below 1.5. The latest report is that we have gone above 1.5, meaning the temperature compared to the pre-industrial age is now 1.5 degrees higher. For us in the Caribbean, that means droughts, irregular rainfall, lack of water, stronger storms, stronger hurricanes. It means that our very way of life is at risk. But I want to say that the Caribbean people, we are a resistant people, a resilient people rather, and we'll continue to join forces to resist what is happening.
It comes to the bigger issue of climate action. And climate change is real, and the larger countries have to come to the fore. The larger countries have to keep their promises at adaptation so we could get to mitigation. It's a serious situation. Lives, not only lives are at threat, but livelihoods are at threat. So I want to say to the people of the Grenadines to be strong, be resilient, and we'll all come together to get out of this.
We are faced with an existential threat with hurricanes and storms. I mean, just earlier this year, Grenada suffered dramatically where drought was concerned, which caused a serious water scarcity issue. And then weeks later, you're faced with this Category 3, Category 4 hurricane. Of course, the devastation is dramatic, and it's going to cost a lot of money to rebuild infrastructure. And elementary, sometimes we look at the infrastructure, but sometimes the folks don't pay attention to people's livelihoods and the impact it will have on people for many years to come. And so we stand in solidarity. The hurricane season has now been extended to December, no longer September, and it's a reality that we're faced with. But we have to be hopeful. You know, we have to do a lot more by ourselves. That's reality, and I'm urging all to exercise patience because only by patience and working together we got to overcome this challenge. We have gone through this in the past in Grenada. And we have some experience, and certainly those experiences will be brought to bear towards the reconstruction efforts in Grenada.
Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell is satisfied with the response from his CARICOM and OECS colleagues thus far and solicits their continued support throughout the restoration process.
They see the magnitude of the disaster. Scene is believing. They've pledged more support. They have discussed sending a group of tradesmen, carpenters, masons, plumbers, electricians in the coming week to help us with at least temporarily putting on as much roofs as we can so that people could be minimized from the challenges of the weather. As you're aware, the Antigua government has members of the RSSA, so to Barbados, Guyana. We expect this weekend from St. Lucia, Dominica, and Trinidad and Tobago electrical linesmen for the transmission and distribution system. So without doubt, it is really the OECS and CARICOM members that are coming to the rescue of the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique at this difficult time. So the boots on the ground are from our brothers and sisters in the region, and so I just want to express my profound appreciation again to all of the Prime Ministers for visiting.
A delegation of leaders from the region will travel to St. Vincent and Union Island next Tuesday to do damage assessments and support response efforts there following the passage of Hurricane Beryl last week.
Yes, and that's the leadership on display. Some people underestimate what our beloved Prime Minister has been able to do from day one, build relationships and maintain them. Networking is key. You realize how swift the response has been from the region, regional leaders, different organizations, and so on. Very, very swift. They have come to the aid of the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, St. Patrick and St. Mark. So while the NNPs out there making all kind of noise, you look beautiful. All right? Nice. Princess Zoe. Close back the door. All right? You're going to daycare? All right. Yes. Again, I am saying the response has been very, very swift, very swift. We saw technical folks from the electrical company. We saw Barbados, some folks from Barbados here assisting again. So quite a number of things are happening, and we are eternally grateful for what we are seeing. The recovery is taking place in a big way, all right? In a big way. Right, Guyana, Belize.
My comrade and colleague, President Ali, I want to take the opportunity to thank him and President Santoki of Suriname for the relief supplies that is shown in the background, as well as the building materials that are on this vessel. It is coming at a critical time for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. It is perhaps the single largest physical donation of relief and building material supplies so far that we've received. It's a 19-page manifest. It's testimony to the fact that our brothers and sisters within CARICOM have not just stocked support for Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but they're demonstrating it in a timely manner and in an obvious manner. So we are really, really appreciative of the gesture. In addition, we have a total of 58 members of the Guyana Defense Force here in Grenada supporting the restoration and relief work. They are contributing tremendously first to a sense of security, peace and calm, and to a sense of hope and optimism in particular to the people who've been impacted by this. And I can only say again on my own personal behalf, on behalf of the government and people of Grenada, how truly, truly grateful and appreciative we are for the tremendous support that we're receiving from our brothers and sisters within CARICOM.
Yeah, this is big. This is big. You realize we had folks from Antigua, we have folks from Guyana, from Suriname, Barbados, St. Lucia. I mean, it's just overwhelming, but it's great. It's great because that is what you want to see in the region. When your neighbor is affected, you have to come to the aid of your neighbor. But it speaks to the respect and admiration they have for our beloved Prime Minister. It speaks to that. And I really want to applaud our beloved Prime Minister and the way he has handled everything so far.
Grenlec just wants to welcome Team Lucelec to assist us once again. Lucelec assisted us back in 2004. In fact, we have a team member here who is returning to Grenada. Ricky is returning. He was here in 2004 and assisted us very well. And Lucelec is back again to assist us in 2024. So we thank Lucelec for their assistance again. And this is the spirit that we have within the Carolec community, where we help each other in time of need.
We are in Grenada right now to assist in line construction after Hurricane Beryl. My team consists of myself and 5 other linemen. 3 guys from our contractors and the other 2 linemen from Lucille itself. I'm fully confident with the team that I have there. We at Lucelec have maintained a reputation overseas in hurricane restoration work. And I am expecting that the same will happen this time. And we are trying to produce as much as possible and try to restore supply to as much community as possible. This is our main aim, to just restore supply and to have customers being powered up.
Yes, I saw somewhere the folks on Barbados. I stand to be corrected, but I saw it somewhere. I was looking for that video with the folks from Barbados. I think they too are here. I was looking for it somewhere along the line, but I'm not able to put my hands on it.
In Carriacou and Petit Martinique, a contingent of soldiers from the Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force under the auspices of the RSS. We also have 8 soldiers from the Defense Force of Guyana. These 8 soldiers form part of an advanced team that is there to assess the state of buildings in Carriacou and to provide support with the relief and distribution of food and other supplies. We expect additional soldiers from Guyana to come up, we hope, by the end of the week. The initial task would be to assist us with identifying large buildings, whether they be privately owned or publicly owned, that can be repaired temporarily to ensure that we have additional accommodation for relief workers and for citizens of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. We need to...
Right, so it's Dominica. Someone is saying to me Dominica. So Dominic, right? So it's the Dominica Electricity Company. Someone is Judy saying to me it's Dominica. So not Barbados, but I saw it somewhere. I don't know if it was on the Grenlec Facebook page where they're actually here. Maybe I can look for that. All right, maybe I can look for that. It should be on the Grenlec page, Grenlec Facebook page. They should have it here, and maybe I can download that and share it with you. All right, no, so it's all right. So it's not Barbados Light and Power Company Limited team. This crew is the second regional team to arrive. So it's Barbados, all right? So I was correct. It's Barbados, all right? So it is Barbados. Because I know I saw it somewhere, not Dominica. I don't know if Dominica intends to send a team here or if they're already here. I don't know. But I could recall Barbados. So we have a team from Barbados here. They arrived in Grenada, and they're assisting the electricity company. So quite a large contingent from the region assisting with electricity restoration, which is really good. So I will try to get it downloaded and I'll share it with you. So plenty good things are happening for our people here. Dominica too. Yes. So Dominica is here too. All right. So yes, there are 2. Right. So Dominica is here and sent. Right. So Dominica, Barbados, and someone is even saying Trinidad. Trinidad, they've sent assistance too. All right. So quite a bit is happening for our people.
For Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources, Honorable Lennox Andrews is reassuring farmers that government, with support from regional and international partners, will help them back on their feet as it pushes ahead with its food security agenda. Based on preliminary information, the agriculture sector took the hardest blow from the hurricane, with over 80% of farms and farmers affected. Minister Andrews also encourages farmers to not lose hope despite the challenges in the wake of Hurricane Beryl.
I want to stress the need for them to remain calm and to be at ease. I've been experienced in the business of farming. They are aware that from time to time, on an annual basis, we are likely to be impacted negatively by severe weather conditions. So I know it's something that our farmers are not unfamiliar with, and in fact, have developed the ability to cope with it over the years. We, from the ministry point of view, or from the ministry end, we are in fact very much on board with what our farmers have been through with the passage of the last hurricane. We are working now towards providing the necessary support to them. The support will take two different forms. There will first be the relief measures and the relief actions that we are going to take to remove some of the immediate pressures on you. And then there will be those measures that are geared towards the rebuilding of the industry itself. So the relief measures have to do with the clearing of the fallen trees so that you can have easy access to your farms, so that you can gather and collect whatever useful products that you have. That is ongoing. And so I am asking the farmers to continue to remain strong. Help is on its way. It's coming in a big way, but we want it to be organized, and we want it to be planned, and we want it to be such that it is geared towards improving on what we have been doing in the past.
Minister Andrews also appealed to farmers to adopt climate-smart resilience strategies in their agricultural engagement, as this would be the best approach in safeguarding their livelihood. The Minister of Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources earlier this year partnered with a number of value chain stakeholders in conducting a series of training in climate-smart resilience practices. This, Minister Andrews reiterated, is key to the long-term sustainability of the sector.
Yes, indeed. So thank you very much there, the Honorable Lennox Andrews, doing a fantastic job in the Ministry of Agriculture. I want to commend all our Grenadian brothers and sisters who traveled to Carriacou and PT Martinique to lend a helping hand in cleaning up at least the main areas, like the main roads and so on. That is significant. I want to commend you. I want to applaud you. And I want to encourage those who are going up to Carriacou. You have to be a little more sensitive to what's taking place there and what will take place. All right. There are people who are still who are still depressed, who are still shocked, who are still traumatized, who are still hurting. So you have to be sensitive to that. You must know that it's not easy to survive a Category 4 hurricane, and we can even go more specifically. It's not easy losing your home, losing your livelihood. You never experienced something like that in your life. It's a shock. It would have psychological impact on the people. So yes, they survived the hurricane. A number of people survive, the hurricane. And they're still traumatized. We saw after Hurricane Ivan here in Grenada, a lot of people died after the hurricane. Just seeing everything gone in the twinkle of an eye, within a very short space of time. A lot of people died after. It's not easy. It's very, very tough to go through this period. So a lot of support, a lot of assistance, a lot of counseling, a lot of, the churches, they have to do, they have to increase what they're accustomed doing to counsel, to engage, to listen the people and see how they can help them. So the churches, they're doing a fantastic job where that is concerned. And we want to encourage them. The ministry, they're doing a fantastic job with counseling and psychosocial support and so on. We want to encourage them to keep doing that. It is not easy. So when you go up to Carriacou to lend a hand and not go on a radio program, for example, like this morning on the Pre-Cause program. You see, there are people who are going up in these places, and they're going up just to gather intel, to take photos, to take videos, and so on, and then to go and comment. There's some people, they just like to talk, so they go to help, not genuinely, right? They go to say, well, I've been there, and then I went up to Karakou, and I see this and I see that, and look, the people of Karakou, this and that. You know, it's not helping. It's not good. It is not good, right? If you go, you must be genuine. Don't go on a radio program after, or a radio station after, and bump your gum and see all kind of thing about the people in Karakou. And you must understand, the Honorable Andy Williams is the minister responsible for mobilization, implementation, and transformation. So he will be seen more, but he's representing government. He's representing all the ministers of government. So not because you've seen him, it means that the others are not doing what they're supposed to do. It's just that his ministry will be the forefront. His ministry will be the forefront. So all the MPs, they are doing what they're supposed to do, right? The Honorable Tevin Andrews, I mean, he has been at it from get-go, right? I mean, I say to him, you need to understand also about your health and your well-being and your family health and well-being, right? It's all good that you want to help your people, and that's great. You have been doing an excellent job, but you still have to focus on your health. The Honorable Ron Redhead, he has been at it, coordinating, assisting in many different ways, right? And I say the same thing to him. And the Honorable Andy Williams, same thing. Our beloved Prime Minister and the entire team, they have been at it. We have never seen government ministers on the ground like this in 30 years, being involved, doing the work, not just talking, being on the ground, right? Look at our beloved Prime Minister. He has been in Karakou so many times, listening to the people, meeting the people, coordinating, leading from the front. That is what you want to see in a leader. And that is what we must be proud of. Let us appreciate what is happening. We have not seen that before. Look, the Honorable Ron Renedy was so drained, so burnt out, that he on the hospital and he's sleeping away because of so much of work. And some people may underestimate that they too would need support and assistance throughout this period. They have been at it. They're not just instructing the volunteers to do this and do that. They're volunteering. They're on the front line. That is what you want in a leader. But you know, while they're doing that, the Honorable Kate Lewis Peters, I think she's married as Peters, MP for somewhere in St. Andrew. She and Zingo, the others there. I saw Nimrod Oliver. I wanted to say Domrod Oliver, you know, but no, Nimrod Oliver, he too there. I don't know if they're somewhere overseas, and they're having a ball of a time. It's amazing, and they are not held to the same standard like they would hold the NDC MPs or ministers too. They could get away with these things. You know, on the weekend I was at an event, a charitable event, a charity event for the people of Karakou and Petit Martinique. So I am Mas, that's Sam Lavaman and his team. Instead of having this big event where you know have the big stage thing and you have to pay money to go in, and so they said, no, let's have a breakfast event. Yes, we're gonna have a little artist here, there, and everywhere, but it's really get towards Karakou, raising funds for the people of Karakou and Petit Martinique. So I see no problem where that is concerned, right? You go into an event like that. But you had Kate Lewis, and if you listen to the lyrics that Zingo was singing there, it is really disappointing.
There is some, and actually whole country down. So much people suffering, chaos living and that are falling. Carnival still happening. We have to start the rebuilding. Why? As she said, even 50. Where fire control? Where fire control? Where fire control?
All right, yeah, these people are sick, in my belief. So Kate there with this green, whatever she has in her hand, and Nimrod Olive. He has this green rag thing, and same thing with what you call that guy, Zingo. He's still around. So Zingo doing his stupidness as usual. But if you listen to the lyrics, right? Something regarding Karakou people on the Tapolin, while something. Let me just play this again because it is sickening the way the NNP is going about this, It is a disgrace. It's a real disgrace. But I just hope that Grenadians are observing what is going on.
Of various points and mash the whole country down. So much people suffering, living and that are balling.
You just listen to the lyrics of this. So many people suffering, kayak people living under what? Something he's saying that is it tarpaulin or something he's saying? And it's just sickening. But that is how the NNP, that is how they have been doing this thing from day one. Those pundits, goons, surrogates. But look, you have a member of parliament. She's a member of parliament, It's sickening. It's really, really sickening to watch these people. But that is what they have been doing from day one. And I told you so. When I played the piece with Keith Mitchell, speaking about if they come and ask, they're willing to help. So you have to go and ask them to help Grenada, Karakou, and Petit Martinique in this time of disaster, and the people trying to recover and bounce back and so on. You have to go and ask them. Since after that, then you had them come out and say that they have some youth and they'll be organizing some brigade, cleanup brigade. It's like separate and apart from the national efforts and so on. And then you hear them talk about some toilets, portable toilets they want to go up in Karakou with, and then they ask them, but who going to clean it? Who going to maintain it? Who going to clean these things? And then they start attacking the member of parliament in Karakou when he asked that very important question, or when concerned citizens ask that question, right? So sometimes you have to think things through. You might want to show up your party because that is what they want. They want political mileage and all this kind of stupidness. They talk about they're going and cook food and feed people. How many people have been fed so far by these people? It's just a big joke, a big laugh, if you ask me. A big laugh. It is sickening. It is sickening. But there are people who support these things. There are people who support these things, and they have no problem with that kind of conduct. They have no problem with that kind of conduct. I wonder for a moment, how could we accept this as a nation, as a people, right? So Jenny Simon, she wanted evidence regarding Keith Mitchell on the battleship after Hurricane Ivan, after the passage of Hurricane Ivan. All right? The most honorable Deacon Mitchell, he did not go on any battleship and hide.
Went onto the battleship. They said they would have the system up and running as the morning afterwards. I spent 3 hours. I wasted 3 hours. And there was nothing they could do because they claimed there was a problem with the band and their system, and they could not get me messages. I had to be making calls, and I said that was not the time for me making calls to specific organizations, and I want to talk to the Grenadian people. So I had to insist that I be taken back from the ship, back to the land. Whether they were pleased or not, I don't know, but I felt extremely uncomfortable that it's known that I'm in some battleship, eating and drinking and waiting to talk to people. I couldn't live with this. So I was back on the mainland and doing what I can. I went over the PA system yesterday. One day I went over by myself.
Right. So, yeah, so, sometimes when you bring the evidence, still they would question the evidence. All right. So Jenny, she was on our program.
That's what I've learned. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell was at Mount Royal, which got severely damaged by Hurricane Ivan. They left Mount Royal with him, his security, and went to his home in Happy Hill, where he rode out the storm among neighbors and people in the village who ran to his basement for cover after during the storm when they lost their homes. And so, as I understand it, the security, his head security, Mr. Jones from St. Patrick, is still alive and in St. Patrick. So that's a place you can go get some information. It was rumored that Dr. Mitchell went on the ship to meet U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell. However, my investigation showed me that Dr. Mitchell meeting U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell at the Point Salines Airport, International Airport, on October the 7th, 2004, as he flew into Grenada to view the damages caused by Hurricane Ivor. If you look there, you'd see the photo. Colin Powell came by plane and not by ship. There was indeed a U.S. battleship outside of our harbor, and it was not just, the battleship was not just for Grenada, it came and it was in the region. It made stops at whichever port Colin Powell himself made, and it was as a place of residence for the soldiers, and for him, if he needed to overnight somewhere, he'd stay, that's where he stayed, because of course, the islands he visited was devastated, and they had hotels, we had no hotels, we had nothing, we had nobody working. So that was where the Americans stayed, and you know how they're protective of their people, stayed out there on the battleship. What I understand is that Powell's visit to Grenada went beyond the diplomatic relations. Dr. Mitchell and George Bush had a friendly relationship as well, and which fueled the support Grenada got from the US at the time. $55 million US. We didn't have the insurance to give us any money, but Dr. Mitchell was able to get from the US government $55 million US grant funding, plus building material through the US Embassy in Barbados, and personnel, technical help on the ground from US personnel. The battleship came after the storm passed.
All right, so yes. Anyways, right, so that was Jenny there, right? That is what these people are on their programs doing, huh? That is what they're doing on their programs.
Went onto the battleship. They said they would have the system up and running as the morning afterwards. I spent 3 hours, I wasted 3 hours. And there was nothing they could do because they claimed there was a problem with the band and their system, and they could not get me messages. I had to be making calls, and I said that was not the time for me making calls to specific organizations, and I want to talk to the Grenadian people, so I had to insist that I be taken back from the ship, back to the land. Whether they were pleased or not, I don't know, but I felt extremely uncomfortable that it's known that I'm in some battleship, eating and drinking and waiting to talk to people. I couldn't live with this. So I was back on the mainland and doing what I can. I went over the PA system yesterday. One day I went over by myself because security guys themselves, they were devastated, all of them.
Right, so you see the evidence. But that's what, Jenny Simon, you have Sheldon Scott, you have Devon Romaine, Carl Caton, Prince James, all of them. That is what they do. They cannot help it. And they know what they're doing. Huh? They know what they're doing during this time. It's just plenty misinformation, plenty lies being thrown out there by so many people on the opposition side. And it's time to build Grenada. It's time to unite and build this country of ours. But they are not interested in that. They don't want to see that happen soonest. In other words, they want problems, in my belief. They want chaos. They want confusion. They want bacchanal. They don't want people to get the help that they deserve. So then they would start to speak ill about the government. That is what they want. They want to stall things. They want to disrupt things. They want to stop things. That is what they want. That is what they want to see. They are not getting what they want because Grenadians are pulling together. Grenadians are working together to build this place, to build it back better than before. And with all the regional help, look at the amount of materials coming from Guyana so that we can have some of those houses still standing, but with no roof. They can get a roof over those houses. All right? And that's key. So once you get those roof, at least, even if it's temporary, because people just want to know that they could go back in their house and bunker down for a while and then do their repairs and build back better and smarter. That is what normally would happen. So you still have houses standing without roof. Once the structure is not compromised, they can put on a temporary roof. A temporary roof, particularly those bigger buildings. So it can house more people and they can move out from the shelters, they can move out from that downstairs that they're in by their neighbor or so. Excuse me. So things are happening. What we want now is unity, togetherness. Let us work together to build this place. There will be time for politics. The NNP will get that opportunity to campaign and to politic. They won't get that time. That time will come around. But for now, it's about country. It's about building Grenada, Carriacou, and P.T. Martinique. Look at the ministers. Hands on. You saw the Honorable David Andrew. You saw the Honorable Dennis Cornwall. They're on the ground. The Honorable Lennox Andrew. Right? They're on the ground doing the work, not talking, not condemning and criticizing. That's all the NNP is doing, you know. Condemning, criticizing, them and their supporters to tear down everything, in my belief. Let's build. Let's improve this place. And people are watching. Eh? If you don't know, people are observing, and independent people too. You see, you have the NNP supporters. They are polarized. You have the NDC supporters. They are solid NDC. And so you have that two group, right? The two groups politically. And then you have the people in the middle. So the people in the middle, they're supporting the rebuilding and they love to see what's happening. And then the NDC supporters, they love to see what's happening. But we need to see no color, no NNP, no NDC now. That is what we need to see. Let's come together and build the place and fix the place. That is what we're supposed to. But no, the NNP is so accustomed to their stupidness. They just can't stop. They cannot stop this dotishness. So they continue with it. Look at the conduct of the Honorable Kate Skeeter Peters or Louis Peters or whatever they call her. Look at her conduct. And look at Nimrod Olivier and all of them. Look at the conduct. Look at their conduct. You could see it's a party that is moving away from reality. That is exactly what is being displayed. It's time to build the country. It's time to team up, come together, and build this place. Not create all this stupidness and try to politic. I see NNP supporters and NDC supporters working together on many occasions. And this is a good opportunity to forge that, to support that, to encourage that we work together to build back Carriacou and P.T. Martinique. And I told people, you know, just give NNP a couple days and they're going to go back to their bad, stupid ways of dividing, of causing all these problems. And you ain't seen nothing yet, you know. When the actual rebuilding starts in Carriacou in terms of actual, right? So when they're building the houses and they, you know, and they're doing those things, you're going to see. you're going to get the opportunity to experience what I am telling you. They would turn this thing into politics. They were talking about the Chinese low-income houses. And when the evidence is on the table regarding the damage that property sustained, then they start to pull back in their shell, because the evidence is now on the table. The evidence is on the table that that property was also damaged. Also damaged. And as a friend said, you want these people to go to that facility. You want to create an environmental hazard in that particular area. Because the NNP, they were pushing all this talk, Yeah, they're pushing it. But I am saying we have to understand things don't just happen overnight like this, right? You have to plan, you have to organize, you got to do things. Over time, we're gonna get there, They want this government to do everything now. That is what they want. But the government has been doing things in the right way to date, and it's bearing fruits. People are happy with the performance of this government. Our prime minister's favorability rating is 80-something%. And they actually poll people from in Grenada and outside of Grenada. So a number of people in the diaspora and a number of people here in Grenada. They ask them about the prime minister's performance, during this crisis. And his favorability rating is now 80-something%. People are extremely, extremely happy with the way he's going about leading the recovery, the relief, the response, and everything like that, right? They're really, really happy. But folks, we are over the time. We pass the end time for the program. I want to thank the people who shared the program. Because, many a times people would come on and they would view, right? They would view the program. But when it comes to sharing the program on their platform, on their Facebook page, so more and more people will view or get a chance to listen, to see the evidence and so on, they don't do that. They don't share. So you might have, let's say, 5,000 or 6,000 people viewing the program totally, right? YouTube, Facebook, when you put that together, about 8,000, 10,000, it depends. Sometimes we would have 10,000 something people viewing only on Facebook. Sometimes, again, we would have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. Sometimes we have 6,000 people viewing on Facebook. So it depends. On YouTube, 2,000 something or close to 2,000, right? That's Facebook and YouTube. But if you share the program on your page, you will actually help to get the message out. So you have to share the program. The minute time you share, you help in spreading the word about the program. So I want to encourage you to share. You view the program on Facebook or on YouTube, but you don't share. You don't tell people about it. So I want to encourage you. I remember before we used to have sometimes, 100 and something people sharing the program, right? I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Share the program. Because when you do, you give others that opportunity to be a part of it, to share, to listen and so on. So please, share the program. Spread the word about the program so more and more people will get a chance to view or to be a part of the audience. You have your work cut out for you. Just share. That's all. Share. All right? So I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take good care. I'll be back with you tonight in the hub, starting at 8 in the p.m. I spoke to Kim the King, and he's okay. And we are well on our way to make a good bounce back, even better than before. So take good care, folks.